Senator Fred Thompson has spent much of his life in Washington, both as a lawyer and later as a senator from the great state of Tennessee. And in 2008, following his own run for the White House, he endorsed fellow GOP candidate John McCain. But tonight, Fred Thompson is here with us in a Hannity exclusive to announce who he is supporting in 2012 for the Republican nomination. Senator, welcome back.
Thank you, Sean. Good to be back with you.
All right. You know, I read your statement, and most people haven't seen it, so I think it's really important that I let you lay it out, because you go into some really, really specific details why this race is so important, what is at stake here, and then who you decide to endorse. Explain.
Yeah, Sean, for me, the way I view the strength of these candidates had to do with the way I view the status and the direction of our government. I think we're in deep trouble. I think that we probably are in greater trouble than most people do. Even these numbers that are coming out of Washington that look so bleak are understated. They're based on faulty projections of growth and things of that nature. We have historically low interest rates now. When those interest rates start to come up as the largest debtor in the world, we're going to be in an additional fix that we can't bail ourselves out of. I think we're at a tipping point in this country. I think there are going to be more people in the wagon soon than are pulling the wagon.
Yeah, we're close.
I think we're there. You know, almost half the people are the recipient of some federal government program. Almost half the people pay no federal income tax. I think this president is taking us down the road of a genuine welfare state, full-fledged, even when we have the example of Europe to teach us and guide us. And I think the American people see what's going on there, see what's going on in their own country, and that's why they're organizing in hamlets and communities and towns all across this nation. You know, some of them are called tea parties. Yeah. And that's my view, and I have come to the growing realization, for me anyway, that Newt Gingrich is the guy who can articulate what America is all about, American exceptionalism, can make the case, not just read the talking points or do it off a teleprompter, can make the case for free markets and our basic case that lower taxes can be good for everybody and bring about growth that's good for everybody. And he's not afraid, and he's tough, and he's experienced. I don't think anymore that it's an advantage to be able to say, I know nothing about the operation of the federal government. I know something about it, Newt knows something about it, and it is a colossal mess. I came to Washington in 1995 in part because of what was going on in the country right now that had been generated in large part by the leadership of Newt Gingrich. He conceived and carried out really a revolution in American politics at that time, and we were able, as he's pointed out, to balance the budget for about 4 years in a row, and pass welfare reform and begin to rebuild a depleted military and things. So these things can be done, but we can't be apologetic about it, and we can't be tentative about it. We can't look like that we're surprised, you know, if we get off our talking points. And we've got to stand up to the establishment on both sides of the aisle and to the news media and carry this thing through. These times are different in America, Sean. The old rules don't apply anymore. People are concerned. People are frightened. People see their country going in a direction that's different from the first principles that made us the envy of the world. And that's why you're seeing people react the way they did in South Carolina.
You released a report, and you mentioned this in your statement. You put this together when you were the chairman of the Senate Government Affairs Committee in 2001. Yeah. It was government on the brink. You say it's far worse now than it was then. You see the debt, you see the deficits. What do you make of, I mean, even tonight, you know, Governor Romney is coming down hard on Newt, a Washington insider, resigning into, I mean, it was one attack after another, and you know, I don't think this is the path towards inspiring people on either side when any of these guys are attacking each other. And, you know, that they spent 20 minutes on this earlier tonight in a debate.
Yeah. Well, I'm not really surprised. I guess I am surprised that Newt's doing his own, shall we say, tough and gritty work. Usually he leaves that to his surrogates and to the super PACs to put on those television ads, and they've spent millions and millions of dollars on attacks like that, while while Mitt stands up there, you know, and I think in the last debate said one of his regrets was that he had said something negative towards one of the candidates. So now he's coming out with an array of accusations that, you know, everyone can be addressed, you know, in the proper time. If these candidates want to spend their time talking about what happened 10, 15, 20 years ago, and mistakes that were made in their personal lives or their business lives or their political lives, I'm sure that each candidate is going to have plenty to talk about. But I think the American people are fed up with all of that and are asking the question, who is going to be bold enough, smart enough, articulate enough to carry the mail? To beat Barack Obama and start the difficult task of righting this American ship.
Will you head out on the campaign trail with Newt Gingrich?
Oh, I'll do some things, I'm sure, but it's not a full-time job, and I'm not going to be a spokesman for the campaign or anything like that. I have the same concern that every father and grandfather has, and same thing that got me involved in politics to start with, and that is, you know, to try to leave the place a little better than you found it. And I've been the recipient. You know, I above all else know that you know, you can be born into modest circumstances in this country, but you're blessed in ways that kings of old could not even begin to contemplate. You know, you're born with a legacy of freedom and independence and free choice, and you know, people and the founding fathers of this country understood human nature, and they understood the wisdom of the ages and the lessons of civilizations that have come and gone. And these things have come together, you know, to give us the kind of life that we've had. And I'm ashamed kind of what our generation is in the process of leaving the next one.
You know, I just turned 50, Senator, and you think about life a little different. Something about that age, and I know you're about to turn 50, so you'll know what it's like in a couple of months.
Won't be long.
Won't be long. Senator, it's always good to see you. Thank you so much for being with us, and I think this is worth reading. Is it on your website?
I don't know if it's on my website or not. I'm sure it'll be on somebody's.
I'll put it on mine, Hannity.com. All right. Fred Thompson, thanks for being with us.